Okay, so we've got another hip opener here. This one we need a bench for. This one's really good to open up the hips, but also see which plane that the hips are tight in, but also to see how our foot is and knee tracks in relation to our hip. So to set yourself up, just bring one foot up onto the bench, and the grounded foot, we just want to make sure that it's in a bit of a T setting, so perpendicular to the bench. Okay, so the toes are pointing straight ahead. And then once we're here, we stay nice and tall, and then what we want to do is just push the hips forward and back. And so I don't want you to just do the hips and keeping the body where it is. So the hips and shoulders are nice and relaxed, and they're going to the front. So this is the first action. For some people, we might be loose enough through the Achilles and the calves to be able to keep the heel on the ground. For me, that's not an area that I'm terribly loose in, so for me, my heel's probably going to come up. So that's the first part, just to push through there, and you might start feeling a little bit of heat coming through the hip flexor there. So once we've done that, we want to start getting a bit of arm movement so that the shoulders are in with this. So we start swinging, and when we swing the arms, we just want to swing them up so the biceps go past the ear. And while we're doing this, we're feeling an opening down through the hip flexor. We're seeing how our foot is tracking. So we're hoping that the heel and the toes are still facing to the front. We don't want to, I'm just going to show you now, we don't want the heel to come inside. So if you can see that, how it comes inside here, because it's going to take it off the hip flexor. If it does, we've got to stop. We've got to turn the heel back so it's behind the toes, and then continue on. So then that tells us that we're a bit tight in this plane, the sagittal plane. So then we're going to change the arm swing a bit to go across the body. So just on a bit of a 45-degree angle across the face. And then again, just being aware of where the heel is going. And then we're going to go across the shoulders and the chest. And that's all for the transverse plane. And then after that, we're going to go across, say again, over the head. And when we go over the head, that's for the frontal plane. And so I feel a lot of heat through the hip now, especially in this one. This is my not so good side when it comes to the hip. And on a transverse, that's when I, say again, on the frontal, that's when I really feel it. And there. So once you've done that, you should feel quite a bit of heat coming through the hip, and hopefully if you've paid attention to your foot and how the heel, whether the heel's coming in or not, you should really get that feeling through there, and you may even get a bit through the calf and the Achilles, and again, that's another area that you may be tight in.